ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरं हरि ओं तत्सत्। Hare Krishna. Okay, so let us get started. I want to ask if anyone has any questions. Uh, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandapranam. Thank you for joining.
Yeah.
I am very, very grateful for your association, and I always hear about all the wonderful ways you have been supporting Amit Prabhu. I
Now, Pravesh.
he's he's so much always glorifying you, and he has so much in-depth gratitude for you that any progress that he makes, your progress is guaranteed. I can
Yeah.
assure you. And you are very wonderfully supporting Loke. This is you are setting a very very exemplary example okay how one can support okay others okay so I'm very very grateful to you. I always remember you and you are always in my heart.
Yeah, Pravesh.
Hare Hare Krishna. Thank you
Yeah.
very much, Prabhu. So let us let us get started. We are very very grateful once again for having Sudipta Prabhu. So we were discussing in our previous session, we were discussing on Bhagavad Gita. Before we go to this, I want to really touch upon one point, okay, which we have been um, talking about many times, but this time with an example. So let's start with this short story actually, so that we can relate. So once there was a great devotee, and when when it comes to the life of devotee, whether it is Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, whether it is a devotee or a non-devotee, everyone gets a chance to see Krishna. So at the and when does a non-devotee see Krishna? The non-devotee sees Krishna at the time of death. But however, they see Krishna as death personified, whereas the devotee sees Krishna as Krishna, okay, as love personified. It's just like Srila Prabhupada gives the example that it is just like the mouth of a cat. If the rat is in the cat's mouth, the rat sees the cat as the death personified. But if the kitten is in the mouth of the cat, they are just saying, okay, my mother is carrying me from here to there. So it is the same mouth, it is the same teeth, but one sees it as a death, another sees it as a love. So this great devotee, he has done a lot of bhajan, he has great bhajan bal, and one day, like, okay, the from Vaikuntha, there is an airplane that comes to his house, and this Vaikuntha Viman has come to take this devotee. So when the so Vishnu Dutas come out of this Vaikuntha aircraft, and they tell the devotee that we have come to take you. So please join us, and we are just waiting for you. We want to take you to this Vaikuntha. So this devotee is very happy, and he just goes immediately and he sees his wife. Arey, there is Vaikuntha Viman that has come for me. So please, why don't you come and join me? So his wife, like, okay, says, okay, Arey, we have so many household activities. Okay, who will take care of this? See, like, I have to cook, and I have to look after those cows, and see who will take care of this cleaning. And after all, that milkman is going to come. The husband is like, "Are you are not understanding? This is not like state bus that has come. This is Viman that has come from Vaikunta. This will take us to the platform of back to Godhead. Why don't you join for this?" Okay, okay, I understand it is Vaikuntha Viman, but what will happen to my this dear devotees? See, this my dear family members. Are Malti is there, their Shama is there, they are all there. What will happen to them? What will happen to them? Oh, then this person, like, initially when the wife says okay, she's okay, he goes back and asks to the Vishnu that okay, my wife, can she come? So then it said like, okay, yes, she can accompany you, no problem. But see, actually, since the Vaikuntha plane has come for you, so there is only one seat. Okay, so she can accompany you with only one condition, that she has to hold your feet. Okay. The thing is, like, okay, it is not like it is not, the gravitational force will not act on her. So she has to just touch your feet, and the Vaikuntha Viman will do the rest. So she will just go very naturally. She will not have any trouble. Okay. Now, when the wife says, okay, what about this Shama, Malti, this, that, like, okay, then the husband thinks, okay, actually, it is not a open offer for everyone. I asked for you, but now, okay, let me ask. And he asked, like, okay, to the Vishnu Dutas, that can they also come? Yeah, see, our Lord has given us the order that they, whatever my devotee desires, it can be done. Only thing is, since we have one seat, they all have to hold one after the other. Like, okay, so each holding other person's legs, they will not feel any pressure. They can just fly very easily. Okay, then it's very nice. Okay, you can get everyone. So he calls, Are Shama, Malti, this, that, like, okay, all like, come, Vaikuntha Viman has come, chalo. Okay. 25 people come together. Their family and neighbors, everyone is there, and the Viman is ready. So this person s- sits in the Vaikuntha Viman, and the Vaikuntha Viman sets starts to fly, and as it starts to fly, all each others are holding each other's legs, like, okay, the wife is holding the husband's feet, and everyone one after the other are holding their feet. And now, because it is Vaikuntha Viman, so what will happen? This person who is a devotee, who has all the life, like, he has always remembered his Lord, so he is once again remembering his Lord in the plane. He's singing Narayan, Narayan, Narayana, Narayana, Narayan. Narayan, Narayan, Narayana, Narayana, Narayan. Now, so this devotee is completely absorbed. He's going to Vaikuntha. He's going to see the Lord of his life, and like, okay, as he's going through this, the but the ones who are below, like, okay, his wife and all others, suddenly, like, okay, one of the relatives, they say, "Arey, did you see the garden? They have this Loki." Okay, did you see? Did you see that Loki? Arey, Bhabhi, did you see this year? The this Loki came very nice actually. Such big Loki. We can see this aerial view. It looks very nice. Then this his wife says, "Arey, last year it was much bigger. This is nothing compared to what happened last year." Is it? How big were those Bhabhi last year? And the Bhabhi says, it was this big. And as soon as she takes off her hand to show this big, immediately what happens? Since she is the one who is holding her husband's feet, everyone falls. टक 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 अरे कमर टूट गया कमर टूट गया किसी का हाथ पैर टूट गया सब ही हो गया everyone is injured. So my dear friends, why we started with this is because if we see, there was a difference. The Vaikuntha aircraft, like the Vaikuntha aircraft takes this person and goes to Vaikuntha, and all others, they are all left behind. Now my question is, what is the reason that these other persons were? I mean, what was the difference that you observed? Why did the other persons did not make it to Vaikuntha? Okay, let us hear from Amit Prabhu, then Lal Mohan Prabhu.
Prabhu, lack of devotion.
Oh, that was a transcendental voice. That was the sound from Vaikuntha itself. Yeah, you can try to unmute again.
Prabhu, lack of devotion.
Lack of devotion. Okay. Anything else? Lalmon Prabhu.
Yeah, when the Vishnu devotee, he was always remembering Vishnu, but the other person, they are still attached with mundane things. They are not able to leave all the mundane, that is your sobji and gardens and everything. So God is not in their mind. Vishnu is not in their mind. They are still attached with the mundane things. And that is why they have to go back to mundane things.
Okay. Nice. What is, yes, Anangmay Chitra?
I think one thing could be that the people, like the relatives of the gentleman, they were not prepared for bhakti. They were not interested. Uh, like Lalu Kaku said that they were not at the stage. They were not preparing for their like fight. Like they were not. The wife was more interested in like the other relatives and the other things, and not in Vaikuntha.
So, yes, you are all right. So let's try to summarize. Basically, if you look at it, Krishna he says in the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita that whatever you remember at the time of death, you will attain that state. That means wherever your consciousness is stuck at the time of death, you will get that state in your next birth. Now, if you see this husband, the devotee who was there, as our Lok Mohan Krishna Prabhu was saying, he was completely absorbed in Lord. And so when he was going to Vaikuntha, he was still absorbed in that. However, the other members, they did not practice this their all the life. And so because of that, they were exactly doing what they practiced. Look at they were absorbed in the other activities, so they were absorbed. And as a result of that, they did not get that that higher taste. And even though there was a very highly valuable thing in front of them, they did not realize that value. I want to ask you one thing. See, you will see that most of the people who who do not take up to, let's say, bhakti or anything for matter, okay, they do not take up to anything. It's not because they are not competent for that, or it's not because they are they cannot do it. It is only because in their mind there are higher priorities. In their mind they have like this is not the this was not a priority. See, like if someone, let's say, if they're trying to prepare for a medical examination, okay, and most of the people who do not get through that is just because they may have not prepared it that well. Okay, even though they know that okay, the competition is tough, but you might see like okay, 70 to 80% of them are very light about it. And in their heart, they already know the result. So we can't make it. They have either given it up or they may have had different priorities that okay, I want to enjoy life, not knowing what the consequences are. So that was the situation in this case. And so we want to come to that point where we left it last week. So let me open that particular verse which we discussed last week. Um, and today we'll try to keep it interactive like as much as possible so that we are able to get more realizations through what we are understanding. Okay. So we were at verse number 58. Let me share my screen. So Krishna, this is we are in the second chapter. The second chapter is titled Contents of the Bhagavad Gita Summarized. And we are at the 58th verse. So here Krishna is saying, Yada samharate chayam. One second. Okay. Kurmo anganeva sarvashah indriyani indriyarthebhyas tasya pragya pratishtita. Krishna is saying, one who is able to withdraw his senses from sense objects, as the tortoise draws its limbs within the shell, is firmly fixed in perfect consciousness. Now, I want all of you to think through this and tell me what are the five senses that we have?
Mm, Hearing, touch, taste,
So ears,
uh,
touch is,
ears,
yeah, the
touch,
sense of touch.
taste,
Taste is tongue.
uh, nose, and
Smell.
vision. Yeah, nose and vision. I mean, eyes.
Yes. So you covered all of them. Okay. So let us see. So let's say if we have to, there is also a sixth sense, like, okay, which is above this, which Krishna tells later. Doesn't even know that one. It is the
The
mind.
mind?
Yes, the mind. So let us take examples. So if you have to restrain, what could be some examples of that restraining? Let's say if you have to give something, like, okay, if we have to taste, right? How can we restrain our sense of taste? What is it that we can restrain from? Okay, let me give one example, then the other ones will open up. So a devotee tries to restrain the sense of tongue by taking only Krishna Prasad, by not taking anything that is, let's say, non-vegetarian, by not taking anything that is not offered to Krishna. The devotee tries to take something that is offered to Krishna, because anything that has been offered with love for Krishna, when we offer it to Krishna, that time it is bhoga. It is for Krishna's enjoyment. As soon as it comes back, it is prasad. Prasad means mercy, kripa. It means Krishna's kripa is in that. And that is what the devotee is having. And just by having that, the devotee is making progress. Now, next thing is, let's take now sense of, we talked about the sense of tongue. Now let's take the eyes. What is it that we should not see with our eyes?
Movies, which is not related to Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, we should see movies which are related to Krishna consciousness, but let's say we should not see anything that is not Krishna conscious. There are so many illicit things which are available on the internet. Okay, and we should restrain our eyes from seeing something which is not good actually. Okay, then what about sense of ears?
Well, there are
Yes.
so many things to hear, but we should not hear which is contrary to the Krishna consciousness, which is not favorable for the to the Krishna consciousness.
Yes, anything that is non-devotional, let us put it that
Yeah.
way. So if let's say, if we are working at if we are at workplace, we keep our business to minimal, but if we try to hear something which is devotional, what we are doing is, by this we are getting ourselves, taking that example which we just heard that story, right? If we have to get ready for that place, okay, which is the the spiritual world, then to get ready, this is what we do. Let's say, for example, okay, if I have to travel to Sudipta Prabhu's place, which is New York, okay, in summer, then I will try to see, okay, what is the weather in there? How is the weather over there? What are the type of clothing that I need, right? What would be, if I'm going there, like, okay, what would be the type of accommodation that I would get? So accordingly, I will try to prepare myself for that journey, right? What is the food that I'll get on the way? What do I need to carry? So if I know, then I will plan for it accordingly. So because of that, we try to hear about that place. Okay, what is it that is available? Okay, let me plan accordingly. Right? That is how we plan. So similarly, when we hear about the spiritual world, then in that case we know, okay, what is it that I have to do to plan accordingly? So that is what is required. Let's, and can anyone give an example of how do we restrain our mind? There can be innumerable examples, but yes, Lokuman Krishna Prabhu.
The minds wants to do many things at a time. Like to na money, my mind wants to witness the running commentary of a cricket match or to na the game of a cricket match. And our mind also like to hear the Krishna Katha. So we have to withdraw our mind from that commentary cricket match, and we have to induce our mind to the Krishna Katha.
Absolutely. See, there can be so many examples for mind, like right from the big, like when the day starts, right? When it is morning, right? First thing when the alarm rings, the mind will tell that go to sleep. You need rest. You need not wake up. It starts right from there. Okay. And then, like, okay, what we do is the hand will come out, snooze. That's it. And then the mind will say there are other alarms also. But then when you wake up, then there is no other alarm. It is already 3 hours past that first alarm. And that's how, like, okay. And similarly, like, okay, when you know that, okay, oh, if I take too many sweets, like it so happens to me, like, okay, if I take too many sweets, it's not good. But when I see the sweet, the mind will say, you can take one more. It's not a problem. Okay. And then you realize, okay, this is not the best decision. And every time you realize it, you're like, okay, yeah, I feel that, okay, I have not learned the lesson yet. So the mind will always try to trick us. If in fact, like, okay, many times we might see, we might be getting into a trouble. Okay, the mind may be warning us many times. Okay, that okay, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, and we still get into it. And then we realize that okay, it's a trap. So the Paramatma which is sitting in, okay, is always trying to guide us many times. Like, okay, it could be, there could be so many things, like, okay, so many scenarios. Maybe we are feeling very sleepy when we are driving. Okay, and sometimes, like, okay, we might think that okay, I need to take a rest before I drive further. And sometimes the mind will be like, no, no, you can do it, you can do it. I've seen, like, okay, people, like, okay, who like I had one friend long back, like he was driving, and he was not just sleepy, he was sleeping in the car actually. And luckily, like, okay, we had those, on those shoulders there are some zigzag marks, so those sound will start coming as if once you start getting into the shoulders. So he told that okay, I had slept off past more than 1 minute, I was sleeping. Then you're like, okay, we can take a break. But he was saying that okay, I did not realize that I felt I was feeling very comfortable driving. So many times, like, okay, mind tricks us in several different ways. There is like nowadays, like, okay, because the mind tricks, because there is this tendency, whether it is medical profession, IT profession, like, okay, I've seen many times, like, okay, whenever the meetings are going on, right, like, okay, many people have the tendency to go and just go to the social media, check like what is going on, and then come back, and then they are lost in meetings, like, okay, what is going on. And in medical field, there are real instances where the doctors who are conducting the surgeries, while doing the surgeries, they are using mobile phones. They forgot that they had an instrument left inside the patient's body, and they stitched the body. And after a few months, the patient started complaining, there is something in my body and I don't feel well. And then they found that there is a scissor or something else, or like which was left inside the body. So, like, if for a distracted mind, how dangerous it can be. So that is what Krishna is telling, like, okay, that if if one is able to withdraw his senses from these sense objects, then that person is firmly fixed in perfect consciousness. And the example is given of tortoise that draws its limbs within the shell. The tortoise, as soon as it finds something, if you touch a tortoise, it will take away its head and its all limbs inside. So anytime that we are going to try out something, like, okay, going with the making the mind as our friend, we should remember this tortoise, how the tortoise does it. So moving to the next one, Vishaya vinivartante निराहारस्य देहिनः रसवर्जं रसोऽप्यस्य param दृष्ट्वा निवर्तन्ते. this is a extremely amazing and very powerful verse. What it is saying is, though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense objects remains. Okay, sometimes we may have given up something, but then the taste is there in our mind. Okay, but seizing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. So I'll give an example. Many times, like, okay, many people are told that, okay, see, it could be anything outside of bhakti also, but when you say don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, then people are saying, I mean, God, like Krishna doesn't want us to be like, okay, no, don't do, don't do, don't do. Krishna wants us to be happy. So the only way to be happy, or to not go with just nose, is to find what is it that we can go with which has a higher taste. When we get a higher taste, then it gets easy to accept. So for instance, like, okay, someone is about to have khichdi prasad, and then you say don't have it. They're like, okay, what will I have? But you place a biryani in front of them and say have that. They will easily switch over to that. You say, I mean, don't have sakkar pare. Hey, why can I not have shakkar pare? There is kaju katri for that. Okay, let me take that. There is gulab jamun, there is rasgulla for you, there is rasmalai. So just like that, when you have a higher taste, then it becomes easy to go into the next level. That is what Krishna is telling, that okay, we need higher taste, because otherwise what will happen is, many people you might see, I've seen this in my life. Like, okay, there are some people I know who had taken up to this vegetarian life of food. Vegetarian, they left non-vegetarian. They ended up in a vegetarian lifestyle. But then the thing is, like, okay, all their association was still having the other types of food. And while this person was trying to practice, but having a taste, having a purpose behind why you are doing it, if that is not there, right? Sometimes we lack motivation, we may not be able to continue it for long, it may not be a sustainable thing. So in order to keep it sustainable, Krishna is saying that okay, higher taste is required. So if we take, for example, if at home the mother makes wonderful biryani, or wonderful pizza, or let's say wonderful ice cream, then the child does not need to go to a restaurant to find out, okay, which is the restaurant, like, okay, oh, Pizza Hut. Oh, that's this. The child might come back and say, okay, it's the same boring taste, I don't like that, I want that mother's pizza. That is being made. So that's how Krishna is giving us, like, okay, giving us the essence. So in essence, if we see, if we are trying to do things which are more routine like, or monotonous, or which we call in our regular language as something mechanical, then what will happen is it may not be sustainable in the long run. It We may be able to kick it off, but then we may not be able to continue with that in the long run. If we have to continue, then we need a higher taste. I'll give a personal example. So actually, when this very recently, we know that this there was this war going on between India and Pakistan, right? So during that time, somehow or other, I got very much caught up with, like, okay, this news that is going on with the of war. And like every time I get into the news, I'm like, okay, what is happening? Oh, the battleship has reached there, and battleship is now 2 miles from there. The battleship is now 1 mile from there, and there is this update and that update and that. All updates are same update only. There is not much difference between these updates. It is same update, And even if you go to the news channel, it's the same news they're playing again and again. But still, the mind is completely attached to, like, okay, what is happening? What is happening? What is happening? And it's the same thing that I'm saying. But then, what after some time, as I was talking to a very advanced devotee, then he was saying that, okay, if you look at it 3 months down the line, like, okay, then does it really matter, like, okay, what what you have, like, whatever has happened, right? Does it really matter, like, if it was the warship was standing here or standing there? I said, no, none of this matters anything, like, okay. So he said, like, okay, he told one very important realization. He said, like, okay, see, if you take the essence of it, we have lost the time in that. Okay, that time, see, in our life, the most precious thing is not money. The most thing is time. Whatever time that we have, whatever time we are spending at this point, this, like 26 December, it's 9:12 p.m. right now. This time, this minute, this second is not going to come back. And same thing, like if someone is 40 years old, 25 years old, 26 years old, 26 years, 3 days, and 2 minutes, that time would have passed, you'd never get it back. So, how we utilize our time is most essential thing. And in if we one of the realizations from that is that if we do not have, like, the excitement in Krishna consciousness, then Maya will give us a lot of alternate tastes, and will drag us to those ones. Maya will arrange. So we have to find out what is that thing which really attracts us to Krishna consciousness. This is something like, okay, we can contemplate on this, like, okay, what is that one thing or two things or three things that really attracts me to Krishna consciousness, and then try to see how we can kind of orchestrate our life surrounded to those things so that we get more higher and higher taste. So give you some examples. If you see, some people may be very much attracted towards kirtan, and kirtan is like that really attracts them, and they may be attracted to kirtan by particular kirtaniyas. So we can start there actually. We can hear more and more kirtan because that is really giving us, and we may be we may feel that, okay, we are feeling very connected to that, so we should take that. Then secondly is like, okay, some people may be very much attracted towards nice prasadam. It is perfectly fine, and we should focus on that. And then maybe once we feel attracted towards that, maybe we can participate in cooking some nice prasadam. So because I know some devotees, what they did is they love prasadam, they love to eat a lot of prasadam. They came from a non-vegetarian background, but when they came to this vegetarian background, they cooked prasadam. uh, they cooked authentic prasadam, undoubtedly, but also they started cooking vegetarian prasadam, which would taste very similar to some of the old things that they would had. And now what happened is they started inviting people, okay, to give them that taste, that, okay, see, in vegetarian also you have these options. It was really attractive to them. They thought that, okay, oh, I am willing to give it, willing to give up my non-veg items. And I mentioned earlier also, once when I came into Krishna consciousness, non-veg was not a big thing, but I was thinking that I had, in one of the restaurants, I used to have this chole bhature, and this chole bhature was my one of my favorites. And in that chole bhature, they would like sprinkle those onions there, and then I could never imagine like chole bhature without that onion. Like, okay, and then I thought, in the anyway, like, chole bhature is out of question, and this was just a little bit in my heart that, okay, how will I give it up? So I just thought about it one week, and the very next Sunday when I went to temple, that day in Sunday feast there was chole bhature. And Krishna, this chole bhature tasted far better than what I, I was used to having. I thought, okay, oh, this is even without the onions. I am willing to give up this give up everything to take this up, to take up Krishna consciousness fully, okay? So that's how like Krishna attracts us. So if we like some particular, sometimes even when it comes to classes also, we may find that okay, some particular speakers really attract us. So if we find something that really attracts us, let's say Radhesham Prabhu or His Grace Adigadar Prabhu, yeah, Deen Pawan Gaurang Prabhu is there. So, or we have His Holiness Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj is there. Or someone may be attracted to our Guru Varga, Param Puja Jayapadaka Swami Maharaj is there, Param Puja Radhanath Swami Maharaj is there, Param Puja Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj is there. So any speaker we get attracted to, or or we like something more humorous, His Grace Amoglila Prabhu is there. So or His Grace Gaurang Prabhu is there. So those kind of things, like okay, whatever we get attracted to, we should try to hear from them, so that what will happen is somehow or other our heart is opening up to that particular speaker. When we find excitement in that, we should continue to hear. That way what will happen is we will slowly start getting higher trace to that. So in this way Krishna is telling us like okay, how um, how we can be fixed in consciousness. To be fixed in consciousness, it is possible by experiencing higher taste. By experiencing higher taste, what will happen is we can give up the lower modes of sense enjoyment. So in our previous verse, like we were saying, right, like okay, there is this context of withdrawing the senses. Lokuman Krishna, welcome to you. So in the previous thing, we were talking about the withdrawing the senses from the sense objects. So we can see how the senses are compared. Like last week when we spoke, the senses are compared to snakes, serpents. Now think about it. If the snakes are compared to serpents, okay, how are the snakes controlled? The snakes are controlled by the snake charmer. They play that flute, right? And as soon as they start playing, the snakes will mellow down and they will come down. But think about it. If that snake, okay, when the snake charmer is doing like this, right? If that snake is uncontrolled, what will happen is first thing is he'll hiss the snake charmer itself. If that happens, what will happen? It'll be deadly thing. Now the snake charmer is showing a show. He first hisses that he first kills that guy and he's after you. It will be a deadly thing. So because of that, we can understand that if our senses are uncontrolled, I mean it's the same thing. That same sense, like which is uncontrolled, can go against us. It can take us to lower and lower modes, which will bring us suffering in our life. That is what Krishna is warning us here. So we'll take one more verse and then we'll stop. The next one is text 60. Yatato hai api kaunteya purushasya vipaschita indriyani pramathini haranti prashabham mana. Krishna is saying the senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjun, that they forcibly carry away the mind even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. I am reading this once again, and just I will give you one exercise. So see, the thing is, Krishna is telling that the senses are so strong and impetuous. That means they are very impudent, like they want to act. Okay, oh Arjun, that they forcibly carry away the mind even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. So, a person who is endeavoring to control them, the senses will still draw away your mind. Okay, we are trying to become fixed up, but the senses will still draw away our mind. Now, I want you to think In other words, what Krishna is saying is like, okay, who has to be the controller? We have to be the controller. The senses should not be the controller, but just think it this way. In our day-to-day scenario, have you come across situation when our mind is being dragged away? Can you give some scenario?
Prabhu, sometimes we involve, I mean, we use too much phones, social media, so
Yes. I will tell you, even this, see, we may know that use of social media um, too much may not be good. But I'll tell you one thing, okay? What you might observe is just try to observe, just try to do this exercise. You think that okay, you will not use your social media or mobile phone for few hours of the day. Let's say you plan that okay, before 10 a.m. I will not use. I want you to observe this pattern. Even though you have decided, you have kept your phone, you will see without you even noticing, at some point of time, you will feel that the phone is in your hands and you are right into the app. Just observe this because we may have got so used to it that despite, like, if we are noticing that okay, my phone, my hand is now going, I will not take it, and you are withdrawing it, that is one thing. But the thing is like okay, the other thing is you have gone to the phone, are you able to relate it? Lokomon Krishna Prabhu, you have an example?
What I have done to get rid of these mobiles and everything. See,
No,
I
no,
have fixed.
no. I'm not asking for solution. I'm talking about problem statement.
No, I have restricted my mind so I don't face that problem now. I have restricted that this is the time I will do this thing and will concentrate only on that thing. Like like when I am chanting or to when I am listening Krishna Katha, even though lot many other calls comes and everything, I do not concentrate on that. I don't attend those. I concentrate only on the things what I am doing. So that problem has not come to me.
Hari bol. Very nice. Yes, that is, if we are one pointed focused, then in that case, we can focus in that way. And it is, there is the best thing. That is what Krishna is saying. Nandini Priya Mataji, can you relate? Any example from your side? Hare Krishna. Okay, maybe Mataji is unable to hear us. So yes, that is what we are talking about. That is a scenario. Now, in the next verse, in this particular verse, Krishna is saying that okay, that that the senses are so strong and impetuous that they forcibly carry away the mind even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. Does anyone remember any example of this from our scriptures that we may have discussed in the past? No? Okay, so one of, yes, Lokoman Krishna Prabhu.
I can relate this when Arjun, his chariot was brought to the between the two the regiments. and Arjun was seeing that he has to fight with with their all the relative forefathers, teachers, and everything. Then to his he could not control his senses from that, and to decided that I cannot fight, I will not fight. So because he could not control his senses or he was not having this knowledge, he gonna surrender to his senses and decided not to fight. I can relate this.
Nice. And what about you, Anangmay Chitra?
I think the example of Maharaj Bharat would fit, that he was trying to, I'm not sure if it fits, but another example might be of uh people doing tapasya, like the sadhus doing tapasya and then Indra sending apsaras, and then they lose control of the senses.
Yeah, so Vishwamitra Muni is such an example. Vishwamitra Muni was doing tapasya for a very long time, and Indra sent Menka. And although Vishwamitra Muni was doing it for so many years, but with Menka, his tapasya, his austerities were all gone. And then he gives up that tapasya. Um, Another example is of, we discussed about this, Ajamil. Ajamil is a classic example where Ajamil, he goes to the forest. He's a son of a Brahmin. He comes from a very pious background. And when Ajamil goes into the forest to collect wood, sorry, flowers, which his father has sent him for, he he sees a low character woman engaging in abominable activities, and he gets attracted towards that woman. And just by seeing that, what happens is he it is not that by seeing like he gets too terribly attracted. He tries to restrain his senses. Srimad Bhagavatam goes into details saying that okay, Ajamil was trying to chant some Vedic mantras to control his senses, but he's unable to. And then he falls very attracted to this particular lady, and he gives up his own wife and then brings this lady home, low character lady home, and then and starts doing many abominable activities. So his initially his senses get attracted, and then like he completely gives gives away all his pious nature and takes up very abominable character. So that is that is what Krishna is really warning us. And many times we are personally put into different situation where we are especially the world is such like okay, in the youth, many times many friends may come and tell us that okay, Arey, why don't you take this, like, okay, it's just a matter of just one day, why don't you take it? It could be it could be some uh, non-vegetarian food sometimes. It could be food with onion garlic sometimes. Arey, what is such big deal with onion garlic, okay? Or it could be sometimes like okay, some people are provoked to take, let's say, alcohol, cigarettes, sometimes even this narcotics as well. And I know there are so many people who are being provoked for that. Okay, what is such big deal in this? Okay, oh, you are the only one who is left out. So, and because of provocation, many people give up. They are not able to stay focused, and just to be in the crowd, among the crowd, they take up to they take up to those they take up to those practices, and just not knowing their circumstances, just not knowing the consequences, they just try it and give up their senses just like they just surrender to their senses. um, that's how the condition is. So that's what Krishna is saying. So um, I think the main main takeaway that we should take from this is like, okay, endeavoring to see in the next session we'll see what is the science of these how does how does the mind really get attracted, and how does the mind like how does the senses play a role to trick the mind, and how we can actually overcome this, that we can study in our next session, where Krishna is very beautifully orchestrating like okay, the process through which the mind goes actually. So we can hear about that. But for today's session, we'll conclude here. If there are any questions or comments, we can take that, or else we can stop here. Yes, Lokaman Krishna, you are on mute. Sorry, you again went on mute. You have to unmute. You have to unmute, Prabhu.
Yeah. I raised my hand that time when we were discussing about the higher test and lower test. Now, in this context, I just wanted to share my one experience in my own life.
Okay.
Now, I think that our mind is always wants to do something, think something. Without doing anything, thinking anything, mind cannot rest it. So when I retired entirely from my service life, the option was to me that how should I spend this time? Because always I, I had been busy in the work. Then the option was there. One is that I was to read lot of English novel, Bengali novels, film, watch a movie, and I was spending the time. Then when I came into contact with Gaurango Kuti, my friend Ashok's life, and Dinapavan Gaurango Prabhu and you, then I got the taste of that bhakti path about the Krishna Katha and everything. Then Antoine, that is definitely much more higher taste than the seeing the commentary and all the matches and everything. Then I lean to the higher taste, that is into this path. This was the experience I wanted to share.
Hari Bahal. Thank you for sharing, Prabhu. Yes, that is how it is, and you have been sincerely uh, aspiring very nicely to follow that actually, and setting a very nice example. So uh, that is what Krishna is explaining, and like, okay, very nicely you are articulating that. And although you came late into this, but you took it up sincerely, and that is something that Guru and Krishna always they appreciate that. And only thing is we have to just be humble in this exercise, because sometimes um, we may be doing lots, okay, but Maya is so powerful that Maya can trick us into pride also sometimes. And we have to be just careful around that. Okay, I know you are very sound, but I'm just telling in general, okay. But we all of us have to be very very careful at every point of time. We want to attain Krishna, and Krishna is not so easy to attain. So in the previous yugas, people used to do tapasya for hundreds and thousands of years. And so in this age, all that has been simplified. Kalir doshe nidhi rajan asti hai eko mahan guna kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha param mukta sangha vrajet. So just just by chanting the holy name, we don't have to go to forest, we don't have to go anything, we can continue doing our regular activities, but just by chanting the holy name, and most importantly associating with like-minded devotees, our doors to the spiritual world opens up. That's it. And That is the treasure that Mahaprabhu came to give us just by doing that. And how do we know the like-minded devotees? When we feel that connection, right? We don't have to really ask anywhere. From our heart, we'll feel that yes, uh, I'm getting some inspiration here. And then when as we continue to hear, we will understand that. So thank you,
And,
Krishna Prabhu.
and by shifting from that lower taste to higher taste, what reward I got in my life, that I got that chanting bead from my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Srila Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, which that scene is always in my mind, and I will never, never want to move from that.
Hari Bol. Yes, this is. Can you imagine, like, okay, the kind of fortune you have, Prabhu? Like, okay, see, Param Pujya Jayapataki Swami Guru Maharaj, he is the Srila Prabhupada among his so many disciples. He revealed the actual eternal position of Param Pujya Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj. He said that this is an associate of Lord Chaitanya. So he is actually from the spiritual world. He has come, and we can see from his mood. Okay, I I personally I had the by Dinapawan Gaurang Prabhu's mercy, I had the greatest fortune once to do a night shift for Guru Maharaj Parampara Jayapata Swami Maharaj. So he he has this routine that before he goes to bed, he would hear Shrimad Bhagavatam. Now his health is not good, but his routine has not changed. So I was given that seva to read Shrimad Bhagavatam. And then I was I was reading that. Somehow I had a very bad throat that day, and like I was coughing also. But I was able to read somewhat. And then after that, when he went to bed, when he was sleeping, uh, many times, like in the middle of the sleep, he had a counter in his hands. And in the middle of the sleep, also, his counter will keep going tick, 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 tick. He is constantly chanting. So actually, like I knew that okay, he does that. So I could understand, but there is uh, His Grace Advait Chandra Prabhu, who was here at Gorangoti some few weeks back. He was telling he had this he I heard it from him, so that is why I knew it. But he was telling when he was doing the seva few several years back. At that time, like, okay, he saw this click sound coming from somewhere. Tick, tick, tick. He thought that some rat has entered the room. And he started looking here and there. And then he found that okay, this is coming from His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj's hands, like he's clicking as he's sleeping. That okay, he's constantly chanting. In fact, like, okay, I was just hearing today when he had this surgery in way back in um, I think I think it was in after 2010 he had one surgery for his um,
Brain hemorrhage.
no, this was his surgery for his liver. So
Acha, liver.
when that happened, he was in practically um, for several days he did not have his consciousness. When he comes back to consciousness, the first thing he asked to his servant, His Grace Mahavara Prabhu, is how many of my rounds are left. That is the first thing he asked, like, how many of my rounds are left? Like, now he's in I mean, he was in a terrible, physically, if you see, he's not in a very good condition. But his consciousness is very fixed on Krishna. This is the nature of a pure devotee. Hare Krishna. And that is why we see that, okay, such a devotee, wherever he goes, he he carries Srila Prabhupada, he carries Krishna, and anyone who comes in contact with such a devotee, like they are mesmerized. That is the power of Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Is anyone else has anything else? Any comment or any questions or any suggestion? Or
Hare
else,
Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you for the beautiful class. As I was listening to your lecture, and I was thinking like one thing. I mean, given the time right now, so we did not have our dinner, and I was like feeling hungry. And when I was listening, right, I was thinking, oh, just a few more minutes, then I'll go to eat. So this is like kind of a distraction too, right? That because I did not what I supposed to do, and now I'm thinking about that hunger that I'm having.
No, no. Th-
So
that is perfectly fine, Prabhu. But see, the thing is, in our beginning stages, like, okay, that comes, Prabhu. But the we should remember the ideals. So one thing that I heard from my spiritual master, his holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, sometimes what you have what you have personally orchestrated here is, even though that hunger is bothering you, but you kept yourself, okay, trying to hear, and that is more important, because Krishna sees this. Through this he gives us higher taste. So he was telling, so my spiritual master was saying that, okay, sometimes we have to reflect on our situation, but we have to know what is the ideal. So the ideal, um, is Parikshit Maharaj, like, okay, for hearing. For Shravanam, he is the ideal. And he's he had his death sentence right in 7 days, and for 7 days he locked himself, uh, to hear, and he was not eating anything. Now we cannot get to that. We cannot imitate that. Okay, and hunger will bother us. So uh, that is that is very natural. But sometimes, like, if we give priority to Krishna, then in that case Krishna reciprocates. So you are exemplary in my in my heart, in that sense.
no, Prabhu. Yeah, no, I was just trying to understand. But I mean, this is just for the hunger, but also like for like our like all the other senses. If I do not do the things that needs to be done, then things will bother. That was maybe
Yes. So what was your question then, Prabhu?
like in sense in for example um for this is for tongue because my stomach is hungry, and then for listening, if I don't listen enough Krishna Katha and I absorb into something else, then there will be that distraction will be there if I don't do what needs to be done in a
Hmm.
way. And I was reflecting on myself, like my practice and my important things as a sadhana that needs to be done. I should do those things so that when it's time for listening to Srimad Bhagavatam or Gita or like a class like this, I can be more attentive than distracted. So
Yes, you are right. So, yes. So in this case, like, it may have been a bit impromptu, but then if we are planned, like, okay, so this is my slot, I want to keep it for Krishna. So if we do like that, then in that case it will be very effective. And when you said tongue, right, one of the thing that comes to my mind is, so Srila Prabhupada said that, the so Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right, like, okay, surrender unto me. He says, um, that sarva dharma parityaja mamekam shranam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayashami ma sucha. See, in the world, people are trying to get out of their suffering. No one wants suffering. No one wants like, okay thing. And what Krishna is saying is Sarva Dharma Parityaja. Abandon all types of business and Mam Ekam Sharanam Raja. Just surrender only to me. Okay. Then what will be the result, Krishna, if I surrender to you? Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayashami. I will deliver you from all your past sinful reactions. That means in past we may have committed many sins. I will I will remove all the past sinful reactions. I will remove all your bank balance of past sins. Is it? Are you sure, Krishna? Like, that is because no one in our family or anyone, like, okay, if we ask, like, okay, even if our greatest friend of our life, someone maybe a spouse, like, okay, girlfriend, this, that, if you ask, like, okay, can you take all my past sin, like, okay, I've done, they will be, no, no. I don't know what all you have done, I cannot take that. So Krishna is saying, Ma Sucha, do not fear. I am here to take it. And Prabhupada says something very beautiful because this surrender process is not an easy process. It is a it is a very long and it takes a lifetime of preparation to surrender. Some people they come with their past background, like where they are completely surrendered. Okay. But most of us may not be there. But Srila Prabhupada he makes it very step by step and he says that the first process of surrendering is the surrender of tongue. So this tongue is the most voracious of this. And what the tongue does is like the tongue is the kind of entry point for everything which can put everything in rampage. So how do we surrender our tongue? It is he says two things. One is that is chant using this tongue, and secondly is he says take only Krishna Prasad. Okay. So let's say in the very beginning, like if it is challenging, like okay, then let us whatever we eat, like we at least mentally we think that Krishna, I want to offer this to you and have. And sometimes we may be on the go, we are trying to take something, then we offer in our mind that Krishna, please accept this and have. Let me have it. And then slowly we come with understanding the ideal that okay, I want to get to a point where I want to offer everything to you, Krishna. Okay, anything that I have, I want to offer everything to you. I want to personally cook and give everything, or I want to take any prasad actually. When we take that step, right, then Krishna understands that okay, this person is very serious about me. Then he starts making arrangements for us. And through those arrangements, we can see in our life how Krishna is orchestrating things, how Krishna changes the regular stream of things into. We can understand as we look into our life 6 months, 1 year down the line, we can see how Krishna is transitioning us into a different stream altogether. How much mercy we have been getting. I was just sharing my realization. I don't know if that answers or if that addresses the point that you were saying, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. Prabhu, I have a question. Like, surrendering tongue means what? We don't have to think about the taste or something like that.
No, it is
As
not. It is not that. It. So surrendering the tongue means like okay, we get Krishna Prasad. The Prasad could be very opulent also. Prasad could be very tasty. It does not mean that okay, in the temple there is a very opulent Prasad. No, no, I have surrendered my tongue and now I will only eat boiled food. No, not that. Anything that is offered to Krishna, we can have that. Okay. And secondly is obviously when I say anything, it means like whatever Krishna accepts.
no, suppose Prabhu, in the temple there is two kinds of prasad, like one vegetable biryani, one is boiled rice. So in my mind, always I think like yeah, boy, vegetable biryani is more tastier than that, so I'll take that. So I'm not surrendering. Is that mean I'm not surrendering or something like
No,
that?
there is nothing wrong in that. See, because Krishna has tasted it. Krishna has accepted that. Okay. So when we are accepting that, it is it is certainly okay. See, even in prasad also there are various levels of prasad. Like if there is a temple installed deity, right, and which is cooked by, let's say, the second initiated Brahman initiated devotees. Most important thing is like, okay, if a offering is being made with lot of devotion to a installed deity in the temple, that is of very high standard. Or if a Brahman initiated devotee is cooking and offering it with devotion, that is of very high standard. Okay. Then like, okay, to deities, then next level is to like picture. So that way, like, okay, to the kind the deity where it is offered, that also makes a lot of difference. Okay. And the devotion, the relation that the devotee has when they are making the offering, it makes a lot of difference. But to begin with, let us not think about it in complicated ways. Let us keep it very simple. Simple thing is like, okay, I want to take anything that is being offered to Krishna. And let us not think that, okay, oh, will I have boiled rice, this biryani? Let's not think about it. If biryani is available, if I like biryani, let us have that. Because most important thing is, as I was going back to the first verse we are reading, we have to have that higher taste. If we love biryani and if that is available in Krishna Prasad, let's have that. Perfectly fine. When we enjoy, see, Krishna wants us to enjoy in Krishna consciousness. It is not like, okay, we will be like, oh, now that I have landed in Krishna consciousness in my life. Right? Yeah, Krishna really, really, he enjoys seeing devotees being happy. That's it. He wants devotees to be happy. Why he is giving all these things is how we can be protected while being happy. That's it. He does not want us to fall in traps. See, like just like a father does for their child, right? Like, okay, oh, you don't go there, you don't be there. Huh? There's some problems are there. So that's like just like that. Krishna is giving. I hope that addresses. And I will not delay any further because Sudipta Prabhu is hungry. Okay. All right. Anything else? Sudipta Prabhu, I hope that addresses.
Yes, Prabhu, it does. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare
I
Krishna.
look forward
Hare
to
Krishna.
seeing you when you are here. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय। श्री श्री गौरांग कोटि भक्तवृंद की जय। वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। हरे कृष्णा।